Jumping to Confusions, the title of the talk. I'll start with a little story, then we'll proceed. The biology teacher in a girls' high school asks the class, okay, can anyone here tell me which human organ, when given the right stimulus, expands to 6 times its size, and what is the stimulus which produces this effect? So one of the girls raised her hand and said, well, sir, I know the answer, but I'm a little embarrassed to share it in the class. So then the teacher looks at her and says, okay, I'll get back to you. Anybody else? And then another girl raised her hand and answered the question. Now, before I tell you the answer, can anyone tell me which human organ, when given the right stimulus, expands to 6 times its normal size, and what is the stimulus which produces this effect?
People and light.
Okay, she was paying attention in her biology class. The pupil of the eye in low levels of light expands to 6 times its normal size. So then he looks at the girl who first raised her hand and said, my dear, I have just 2 things to say to you. One, you have been thinking some naughty thoughts. And second, you're in for a big disappointment when you get married. Jumping to confusions. Yeah. Our perception of reality is so conditioned by our culture and upbringing that early in life we lose our ability to discern fact from fiction. Yeah? Our culture and upbringing has had such a powerful influence in our lives that it's very difficult for us, after a certain period of time, to discern fact from fiction. So we normally assume that what we see or what we perceive is actually what is there. Yeah? But what we see is not related to what is there. What we see is related to what we believe. Can you give me an example of what this means? Our eyes don't show us what is in front of us, what is actually there. Our eyes show us what we believe. How do you understand this? Give me an example.
They say girls that have anorexia, when they look in the mirror, they see a fat person.
Okay, that's a good example. Something else? Yeah?
I've heard the original, the pre-Columbians in the Americas, when the conquistadors, the Spanish ships came, they actually couldn't see the ships on the water, because they'd never seen the ships there. And it was apparently some shaman who read very strange wave patterns coming in on the shore that made him think there's something out there. He looked and looked and looked, and after 3 days he saw the ships.
Yes, I read about that account. Amazing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Because for those people, they were only familiar with small boats, small canoes or whatever. They were not familiar with large ships. So because it was not in their frame of reference, they could not actually see the ships right in front of them. Fascinating. Do you know of Nothing. Oh, I'm yeah. Hi. Thanks. Have you met attractive people, whether men or women, who, when they look in the mirror, they don't see much attraction there, and therefore they need to do all kinds of things to their appearance to feel attractive? Have you come across such people? Have you come across wealthy people who, even though they have an incredibly huge bank account, they still feel that they need to save? Yeah? So our eyes, our perceptions don't really show us what is there. Our perceptions are really related to what we believe. And when our beliefs are faulty, we create suffering for ourselves and others. When our perceptions are faulty, we seem to jumble things up, fact from fiction, and we cannot see that what is impossible may be possible, and what is possible, what we think to be possible, may be impossible. Are you understanding? We really jumble reality up. So can you give me an example of what is actually impossible, but which we believe to be possible?
Change another person.
To change another person? Okay, that's a good one. But we keep hammering away. Something else. Something really impossible, but we just think it's so possible.
To control our reality.
To control our reality. It's impossible.
Stop aging.
Ah, to stop aging. Okay? Yes? Everybody wants to be happy. We want to feel this fulfillment in life. But is it really possible for us to experience this happiness and fulfillment in the absence of self-awareness and self-love? Is it really possible? We all want to be happy. We all want to feel fulfilled. But how many of us are wise enough to make the time necessary to know ourselves, to grow ourselves, to love ourselves? How many people? How many people get married every day? And yet, what are they doing that will be different from what most people are doing that will make their marriage work? And yet, they sincerely believe that their love is really going to take them the distance. How many people graduate from learning institutions worldwide every year? So many graduates. And yet, how many of them will really craft an exceptional life from what they have learned? How many of them really will feel that fulfillment from their vocation? How many will offer something of value to society? How many will do things differently from how most people have done things? Yeah? So although we wish to be happy, we want to be fulfilled, we want to live a vibrant life, it's really quite impossible to do so in the absence of self-awareness, self-love. Yeah? Very difficult. And what is it that is really possible, but we think is impossible? Because of the muddled thinking. What is actually possible for us to achieve, but we think is so difficult to do so? Come along, you guys, warm up.
Our potential.
Okay. Our potential. It's possible to achieve our potential, but we think it's impossible. Very good. Something else? Something really possible, but which we think is so impossible. How many of you really love yourselves? Oh, yummy, yummy. Yummy love. Yeah? How many of you really appreciate yourselves? How many of you have this self-assurance to achieve what you really wish to achieve? All of you, I see. Okay. Keep your hands down, those who agree. All right, very good. in the absence of a healthy self-image, in the absence of a healthy self-image, very difficult to achieve things. And yet it is possible to achieve that healthy self-image by learning how. It doesn't just happen out of the blue, we need to learn how. Because our culture and upbringing has somehow distorted our perception of ourselves and the reality we live in. Okay, let's see something else here in relation to jumping to confusions. What is something untrue which appears to be true?
That we're not good enough.
Yes, good one. What is something untrue which appears to be true? That we cannot influence our reality to be the way we would like it to be. It's untrue. Are you understanding? We believe that it's so difficult to change things around, but it appears that, oh, life is difficult, we can't change things around, but it's untrue. We can influence our reality to be the way we want it to be, but again we need to learn how. And what is something true which appears to be untrue? That the everyday choices we make are insignificant. That the small choices we are making are insignificant. But are you aware that it is the small choices we make from moment to moment that are shaping our destiny, that are shaping the quality of our lives? But this seems, oh no, Behram, that's just a small lie, that's just a small deceit, that's just a small whatever. But these small actions are cumulative. They build up over time. The small moments of neglect build up over time. And we don't see that. We jump to confusions. And what is something exceptionally unwise, but which appears to be wise?
Procrastination.
Yes. Procrastination. Something else?
What about when people believe that they've got a path already laid out for them, so instead of them doing anything else about it, they'll just sit back and say, well, I'm on my path, without actually doing anything. They just believe that that's it. I've got my path is here in front of me, so I'll go with the flow.
My path is here in front of me and I'll just go with the flow. Okay? Something else? Something extremely unwise, but which appears to be wise. Okay. You have the Queen's chair there, if you like.
Sorry, somebody else is coming.
And another being, two beings. Oh, one more chair here, Brendan. Is there any chairs in the back? Are there any chairs? Just a little. Okay. Yeah, if you'd like. Yes, dear.
Investing all your energy in a romantic relationship.
Investing all the energy in a romantic
All
relationship.
your energy into thinking you'll find happiness in this romantic relationship.
What do you guys think? Is that wise or unwise? Okay. Something else?
Trying to withdraw if there's suffering or things that are issues for you, and just removing yourself from them, so not dealing with it perhaps. Or
Not dealing with the
it's
issues?
good for you, it makes you happy to avoid it.
Yeah, living in avoidance of things which upset us, suppressing it, running from it. Yeah. Okay. The question is, what is something unwise which we believe to be wise, in a sense? Yeah? What is something unwise? Extremely unwise. Okay, let me give you a hint. Why do people jump to conclusions? Why do people assume things wrongly?
That they're on the right path, that they know what they're doing.
Because
Because they believe that they know what they're doing.
they really believe in the rightness of their opinions. Okay? Okay, let me share. The deferring of wisdom, the postponing of becoming wise, the postponement of personal growth and learning is one of the worst choices we can make. Are you understanding? Yeah? Because the deferring of wisdom, the postponing of wisdom, eventually becomes a learning disability. It becomes a learning disability. What does that mean? It means, thank you. I see you guys have not been doing your homework. It means that we fail to learn not only from our mistakes, but also from the mistakes of others. The deferring of wisdom eventually becomes a learning disability. And this means that not only do we fail to learn from our errors or mistakes, but we also fail to learn from the mistakes of others. How many people, for instance, have family members who smoke and drink and suffer the consequences of these debilitating habits? And yet, how many of these people who witness this reality follow in the same footsteps? I know friends who have died from lung cancer, and I've seen their children smoking and drinking, regardless of seeing it in their own family, something so close. They see it, and yet they follow in the same footsteps. Why? Because they have deferred their wisdom. They have not chosen to be wise. So these are classic examples of seeing the truth and acting without any reference to it. Now, is that being wise? You're seeing the truth and yet acting without any reference to it. Crazy. So, of course, we all have a reason for deferring wisdom, yeah? We're busy with families, we're busy with friends, yeah, and work, of course. So what is something really wise which appears to be unwise? What is something really wise to do with our lives, but which appears to be not so wise?
Follow your heart.
To follow the heart, follow one's heart. Yes? In which direction?
In the direction of truth.
Okay. Something else? Yeah?
So, personally, getting up in the corporate ladder, but when you get to the top, there's more responsibilities and it takes you away from your family. And you may not be at the end of the day, it may not be what you've always wanted.
Okay, that is something unwise which appears to be wise. Okay, but now the question is, what is something wise which is not really wise, which appears to be not wise?
An example would be?
An example would be making time for personal growth and learning. It's extremely wise, and yet we keep deferring it because of family, friends, vacations, and work situations. Behram, I can't come on retreat. I'm too busy. Yeah? It's a wise decision to make, but from our perspective, from many people's perspective, it's unwise. Oh, not now. Of course I can't. I have family obligations. I have work obligations. It's not wise to do this. So we are really jumbling things around, not seeing fact from fiction. What is really unwise, we see as wise. What is wise, we see as unwise. What is true, we see as false, and vice versa. So what has to happen for us to enhance our perception, to see reality the way it is, so that we can navigate through the illusions in which we are normally entangled? What has to happen for us to enhance our perception, to be mindful of what's really going on here? Please tell Sister T.
Stop deferring our wisdom.
Copyright answers. Okay, stop deferring our wisdom.
Start caring for ourselves.
Start caring for ourselves.
Having time to reflect or meditate or become aware, trying to become aware of the assumptions they're making, maybe.
Okay, to meditate, to become aware. But before this, what is to happen before this? Where does the turning point take place?
Maybe being shaken up by something which appears to be an accident or unfortunate event, but that would make us stop and analyze our lives.
Okay, sometimes painful situations, painful scenario wakes us up. It's a wake-up call to try something different. All right, very good.
You have to seek someone or seek guidance that is wise guidance.
But before that, what has to happen?
How about making the decision to look and start somewhere? To actually make a conscious decision that I'm going to start now.
Recognizing that we're worth it.
Recognizing
That we're worth the trouble.
that we're worth the trouble. So it's not willpower, right? It's not just intelligence. It's not willpower. It's not hard work. It is recognizing or being honest about the fact that our assumptions may not be valid, that the way we have been choosing to live our lives may be not so accurate. Without this fundamental honesty about our situation, that we are a little bit lost, regardless of how hard we have tried to be happy, we are a little bit lost. Unless that fundamental honesty takes place, we will not move in the direction of wanting to look. Because we will continue to believe in the rightness of our opinions. We will not want to look. We will not want to make that change unless that deep honesty takes place. So along with that honesty comes not only time for reflection, along with that honesty comes the desire to seek out someone who can guide us to being aware. Because if it was so simple for us to be aware on our own without the guidance, we would already be aware. Because we don't want to suffer. We don't want to make choices that will bring us pain. But if it was so easy to select fact from fiction, to discern fact from fiction, we would be selecting facts and not fiction. But it is not so easy. The way to happiness is not self-evident. It is concealed by layers upon layers of misperceptions. Are you understanding, please? It's not easy. So we need honesty of the fact that we are a little bit lost, and we need the honesty also to acknowledge that there might be someone out there who can possibly guide us to seeing more clearly. Because only then will we move in the direction of an accurate view of ourselves and the world we live in. Without this honesty, we will not look for an accurate view, because we will already believe that our view is accurate, even though we are in so much pain and turbulence. We will continue to believe in the rightness of our opinions. Yeah, it's very difficult to get out of that sticky mess. But just ask yourself, please, is it really possible to gain mastery without apprenticeship of any kind? Is it? Is it really possible to gain knowledge without study of any kind? And yet we seek mastery without apprenticeship, and we think we have the knowledge without the study. Oh, I know about myself, I know about the world, how it is. But where is the study? Where is the research? Where is the depth of awareness that allows you to be sure of what you know? Yeah? And because we know in the importance of mastery, which comes from apprenticeship, we go to school and college to learn. But as adults, after we go through university, somehow we believe, again, erroneously, that now that we have graduated, we have 20/20 vision of how life is. But if it was so, there would not be so much suffering in the world. If we really saw correctly, we would not seek to harm ourselves or anybody else. But our vision is not clear. Please understand that it is not the things we do not know that cause us trouble. It is the things we know that just aren't so which cause us the trouble. Are you understanding here? It is not the things we do not know which cause us trouble. It is the things we claim to know which just aren't so. This is what causes us trouble. If I'm driving down the highway and my car breaks down, the fact that I don't know how to fix the engine will not cause me trouble, because I could maybe call for help. But for me to believe that I'm a great mechanic and I open the hood and start tinkering with the engine, that's what's going to cause me trouble. Yeah? To believe, to know something which you don't really know, despite evidence to the contrary, that's what causes the trouble. So I may not know what it means to really nurture a healthy relationship, and that in itself will not cause me trouble, or that much trouble. Because I can then seek for guidance. But if I say I know what it means to nurture a healthy relationship, and it's my partner who's nuts, yeah, and I stick to my opinions, that's what's going to cause me trouble. That I don't move, don't budge from my viewpoints. That's what causes me trouble. From a very early age, before we could even speak, we all had the desire to know ourselves and the world we lived in. Have you seen how children, how curious kids are? From birth, they're curious. They want to know. They lick everything, touch everything. Oh, the carpet, what does it taste like? Lick, lick, lick. Yeah? They want to know the environment. They want to know themselves. Yeah. And once they start speaking, oh, that's when the parents start graying very fast. And they're full of questions, all kinds of questions. Mummy, why this? Daddy, why that? Why not? Okay. There was this one kid who asked his mom, Mom, did you tell me that I weighed 10 pounds when I was born? When I was brought here to this house? Yes, darling. And did you tell me that it was a stork which brought me? Yes, darling. But Mom, I've just done a Google search. And a stork does not have the wingspan for a 10-pound load. So, Mom, how did I get here? Well, darling, ask your dad. Questions. So, why is it that we all seek to know? We want to know about ourselves and the world. Even though our knowing is faulty most of the time, we want to know. Why do we want to know?
Human nature.
Human nature. Okay. What else, Yvonne? Why do we want to really know?
Grow.
To grow. Very good. And?
We can only love ourselves if we know ourselves.
We can only love ourselves if we know ourselves. What else? Come along, just say it.
To measure up against others.
To measure up against others. Okay. Something else?
To navigate our way around life better.
To navigate through life's illusions much better. Okay. And lady there, yes. Why do you want to know? Yes.
Because I just need to feel better.
To feel better. Okay.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. All right. Come along. Yes, madam. No.
To understand.
To understand. Why do you want to understand?
To make sense of life and why we're here.
To make sense of life and why we're here. Okay.
It's kind of just like an inner yearning, like something that there's something more and that you want to contribute more. And there's things that belief systems and things hold you back. So it's like the more I can try and understand who I am, the better person I can be.
Beautiful. Knowledge expands our options, whereas ignorance does not. Yeah? Knowledge allows us to feel fulfilled and settled and serene. Ignorance does not. When your partner is not yet home and you don't know when your partner is coming home, do you feel a little insecure? Maybe there's an accident, maybe something else has happened. Yeah? But when you know where the location of your partner is, you feel a little calm and secure. If you hurt yourself and you don't know how to repair the damage, that ignorance causes stress. But if you are a doctor and you know how to fix the situation, there is no stress. Are you understanding? Knowledge basically leads to positive results. It expands our options and leads to positive results. Whereas ignorance leads to fiasco of one kind or another. But when our knowing, when what we claim to know is not creating positive results, is our knowing faulty? Yes? Okay. So when we are suffering day in and day out from different kinds of turbulence, when we're suffering from different kinds of turbulence, is it because our knowing is accurate or is it faulty? It's faulty. And yet, what are we doing about it? What do people do about it?
Keep going in the same path.
Pardon me?
We keep going in the same path as we were before.
Keep doing the same things again and again, and we keep wanting a different result. Yeah? Regardless of the relationship fiascos, regardless of the health conditions, we don't see the importance of changing direction and trying something radically different. Our knowing is not creating positive results. Our knowing is creating difficulties. And yet, we are not keen to upgrade our knowing. Why? Isn't it crazy? There's a saying that fortune favors the prepared mind. Why does fortune favor the prepared mind?
Because you know where to seek it.
Because?
You might know where to seek it.
You would know where to seek for the solutions, okay?
Because you can recognize it when you see it.
You can recognize the opportunities, you can recognize whatever you need to recognize when you see it, okay? And how many of us are really preparing ourselves every day to face the challenges which we are going to face? We are all going to face challenges. How many of us are prepared to be fortunate in a difficult situation, where we are in touch with the resources we need to face the difficulty correctly? How many of us are really prepared? And how many of us jump to that confusion that, oh, it will all sort itself out somehow? Yeah, I just need to do a little bit of voodoo. Just dabble in a little black magic and things will be fine. Or if I just ignore it long enough, it'll go away. Every day we face the challenge of staying healthy, physically, emotionally, psychologically healthy. So many things come in our way, so many distractions, so much stress. How prepared are we to remain healthy from moment to moment, from day to day? How prepared are we? We face the challenge also of being clear about the choices we are making from moment to moment, to know which choices will lead to a better harvest and which will create difficulties somewhere down the line. How many people are prepared to be clear about the choices they are making? And how many people believe that, oh, those insignificant choices will just somehow go away? But all large things come from small actions. And when we are not prepared to see the significance of those small actions and the consequences related to them, what are we doing to ourselves? Many illusions in life, please. Extremely many illusions in life. How prepared are we to look beyond those illusions, through those illusions, so that we can navigate ourselves in a way that is a blessing to us and to others? So many confusions, so many things we take for granted. Fortune favors the prepared mind. How prepared are we for life's challenges? How prepared? The moments are passing, the days are passing. How prepared are we for life's challenges? Okay, we'll take a little break and we'll come back to hear some more of this. Yeah? Thank you. Deprived of a stimulating environment, any creature suffers. Would you agree? If you cage an animal or any creature, will it be happy? Not very much. Okay. And neither would you. And yet, are you aware that when we do not have, or when we do not cultivate uplifting thoughts, when our conversation is mundane, when our actions are not really uplifting, we are doing the same to ourselves, that we are caging ourselves in our limitations? Are you aware? Just how we deprive ourselves of experiencing the joy, the beauty, the magnificence of our being by not having high aspirations. Are you clear on that? How many of you are TV addicts? Hallelujah. Some honest answers here. How many of you cannot do without TV, was the question. Some of you here, possibly. How many of you cannot do without entertainment of some kind or the other? All right. And why is this?
Distraction.
Why do we need these distractions in our lives?
Artificial stimulations for your mind.
These are artificial stimulations for the mind. Okay. Would you be doing the same thing if you were really passionate about achieving something that had real significance in promoting your welfare and the welfare of others? Would you really have time for TV if your mind was, focused on something inspirational? If you had a project you were living towards that was really riveting? Not really. Many times people have come on retreats with me, TV addicts, even smoking, obsessed with smoking, or sometimes drugs also. And many times, in the process of studying themselves, knowing themselves, they've totally forgotten their requirement for TV or any other distraction. They've been able to wake up early, go to bed at a certain time, and have more vitality than they had, or they usually have in their own home environment. Because when the mind is given the right nurturing, we don't need those distractions. But we deprive ourselves daily by not aiming for something uplifting, by not having something wonderful to look forward to. And then we get caught up in illnesses, in boredom, in restlessness, in fiascos. All kinds of things start to just come into our lives because we're not really focused. Rich experiences create rich lives, and shallow experiences create shallow lives. We know that. So in which way are you enriching yourself daily? Which way? Every day we face choices. Every day. We can choose to educate ourselves, or we can choose to entertain ourselves. We can choose to make a positive difference in our community, or we can choose to be indifferent. We can choose personal excellence, or we can choose to be mediocre. Every day we face choices. What are the choices you are making from moment to moment, from day to day, that are really enriching your life and the lives of others? What choices are you making to make a positive difference in your environment? How deeply do you really care, not just for your family and friends, but also for the wider community to which you belong? How deeply do you really care? Is it really satisfying to simply keep taking from society and not offer something of value back? Is it really satisfying to do that? Please, rich experiences create rich lives. And the richness comes from having aspirations that are worthy of us. But when we live in neglect of ourselves, when we live in neglect of others, when we can make a positive difference and we choose not to, it's not very satisfying. Deprived of a stimulating environment, any creature suffers. We also suffer when we don't stimulate ourselves with things which enrich us and which enrich other people also. It's not very satisfying. Do you know that in every single moment, all around you are countless possibilities waiting to be tapped? Countless. Yeah? These are your opportunities. And do you also know that within you, deep within you, are countless possibilities waiting to be tapped? These are your potential. How well you match the two, how well you bring the two together, determines how well you will live. Opportunities, potential. We have the potential to be wise. The opportunities are there. Are we going to reach out and take them? We have the potential to stay mediocre. The opportunities for being mediocre are also there. Watch the TV programs. How uplifting are they? Yeah? All around us, countless opportunities. Do you recognize them? Within us, countless possibilities, our potential. How well are we marrying the two? How well are we bringing the two together? How prepared are you to recognize and make the most of these opportunities? Because the better you are in matching your potential with the opportunities that are already there will determine the quality of your life. But if you simply let your days slip by you unappreciated, if you let your opportunities slip by you unnoticed, then who is to blame really for the quality of life you experience? Your parents? Society? Your neighbors? No one to blame really, but you have to be accountable for what you feel, how you feel. Okay. People who know themselves grow themselves. People who don't are miserable. And why are they miserable? Because they don't grow themselves. And what does that mean, in some other words?
Stagnation.
Stagnation. Why are people generally miserable, frustrated, anxious, angry, aggressive, greedy? Why are people miserable?
Because they feel trapped.
Pardon me?
Because they feel trapped.
Because they feel trapped. And why do they feel trapped? Because?
They can't see an open door.
Because they cannot see, they cannot recognize that open door which is always there. Opportunity is not knocking just once. It's knocking all the time, but you're not listening.
It's their choice as well.
Pardon me?
Sometimes it's their choice.
Have you ever come across people who, even though they are miserable, and you offer them an opportunity to do something about it, what do they normally do? No, thank you. I'd rather be miserable. Yeah.
Comes down to lack of spirituality, I guess.
Comes down to lack of awareness, yes. Lack of awareness of what they are worth. Lack of belief in their worthiness. So they would rather suffer than take the opportunities to do something about it. People who know themselves grow themselves. People who don't are miserable. And they're miserable because they continue to make unwise choices. Unwise choices based on unwise reflections, unwise translations, unwise justifications, and unwise conclusions. They're miserable because they keep deferring their wisdom. They keep deferring to be wise. And therefore they continue to make these unwise reflections, translations, justifications, conclusions. And they're so convinced in the rightness of their opinions that they will not even look for another way of sensing things. How sad. This is so sad to see that. Especially when it comes to family members, when we see them destroying themselves in front of us. Extremely sad. But what to do? Like they say, some of us come to the teachings when we see the light, and some of us come to the teachings when we feel the heat. I was amongst the latter. When I felt the heat, that's when I shifted. So, some of you like to do that, okay? Just put up the temperature. You'll come to the wisdom faster. Please, we do not have to be gold medalists in the Olympic event called jumping to confusions. Okay, we don't have to aim for that. It's not something we should aim for. Being gold medalists in the Olympic event called jumping to confusions. Why? Because, simply because of our spiritual heritage. We're all spiritually, well, there's nothing non-spiritual about us. By default, we are all immensely wise. We are all immensely loving. We have all the wisdom of the universe within us. We don't have to jump to confusions. We have everything we need to craft an exceptional life. We have everything we need, except the access code. Except the access code. And that Sherry has. So once you sign up to meet me on Tuesday, she'll give you the access code. Have you ever come across someone who is crystal clear about what they want to achieve? Yeah? And with an unwavering focus on what they want to achieve, they set out to achieve it. And regardless of the obstacles, regardless of the difficulties, we can be quite certain that they will not be daunted by whatever comes their way, whatever opposition comes their way. Have you come across such people? Driven. They have an uplifting purpose, they know what they want, and they're not willing to stop till they achieve it. What drives such people? What is it that drives such people?
Belief in themselves.
Belief in themselves.
Yeah.
And the confidence is there. Why are they so motivated? They believe in their goal. Desire. Desire for what?
For the thing they're trying to attain.
Okay.
They're hungry for it.
Okay.
I believe they're worth it.
They believe they're worth it. Okay. What else? They care enough. People who are really driven to achieve something of significance, they care enough for themselves and they care enough for others, so that their achievement is not something which is only for them. The achievement will also benefit others. they care enough. When we care enough, we also are driven with that uplifting purpose, that single-pointed aim to offer something of value to society, from which we take so much. But we need to care enough. And what has to happen for us to care enough?
Learn about ourselves.
Learn about ourselves.
We have to not be miserable.
Miki-san, what has to happen to care enough? To offer something of value to society? The lady in the back.
You have to want to.
Yes, you have to want to. What creates that want? Pardon me?
Motivation.
Okay, motivation. Pardon me?
Value, like you value society and yourself.
Share the knowledge that you have with other people.
To share the knowledge that you have with other people.
I suppose it's a connected, maybe they see a connectedness that if they, they're part of the whole, and if other people are happy, if you tend to be happy with other happy people, don't you? If you're with miserable people, you tend to be miserable. So if you can make people happy and share it with them, then,
Can you really appreciate something if you have a superficial understanding of it? Can you appreciate anything if you have a superficial understanding of it? So, the deeper the understanding of something, the deeper the appreciation. Yeah? And the deeper the appreciation, the deeper we feel the urge to share that with others. Look at children. When they're enjoying something, hey mommy, look at this, hey daddy, look at that. Yeah? Listen to this, look at that. Whatever we are really joyful about, we like to share as a spontaneous reflex with others. If we're really passionate about something, we want to share that with others. But to be really passionate about something, we have to know it deeply enough. The deeper the understanding of things, the deeper the appreciation. Deeper the appreciation, the more single-pointed we are in wanting to know more and to share it with others. One good way of acquiring this passion, one good way of deepening our understanding of ourselves and life is through the regular practice of meditation, of being quiet enough. And yet, how many people make the time to be quiet enough to discover their divinity? How many people? How many of you here have a regular practice of meditation? Okay, some fluttering fingers somewhere. Please understand that instead of waiting for great moments to come to us, it's far better, far more profitable for us to take common occasions and make them great. Are you understanding? Instead of waiting for great things or great occasions to come to us before we stir from our lethargy, it is far more profitable for us to learn the art of taking common occasions, everyday things, and transforming it into something brilliant. Common occasions, learn to make them great. Don't wait for great things to happen, because the opportunities are all the time there. We just need to recognize them. We need to marry our potential with the opportunities which are already present. And that coming together correctly will unleash what is finest in you. Waiting for things, waiting for life to bottle feed you happiness, it's not going to happen. Yeah? We have to take charge of our own happiness. We need to learn how to bring happiness into our moments instead of waiting for happiness to come to us. Okay, so now let's do a little meditation. Yeah? I will speak, you just reflect. After the meditation, I'll have some questions. I will be open to questions. Okay? Okay, back straight. Back straight, shoulders loose, head balanced. Breathing well from the abdomen. How well do you cherish your moments? Okay, that's the theme of the meditation. How well do you cherish your moments? How deeply do you cherish your moments? Every day you have the choice to be in greater physical health. How much vitality do you experience in your body with the choices you're making from day to day? How healthy are you physically? How well do you know your body and its requirements? How well do you nurture it? Are you conscious of the foods you eat? Are you conscious of the importance of regular exercise? How much zest and vitality do you feel in your body? Every day you have the choice to improve your speech. Do you know that to change your life, you need to change your conversations? What do you normally talk about? Is this really worthy of you? The conversations you have, are they uplifting? Are they worthy of you? Do you watch your tonality, especially when you're talking to members of the family that you take for granted? Do you watch the tonality of your voice? Is your voice affectionate? Are your words gentle? Are you endearing in the way you speak to others? Are people listening when you're speaking, or do you see their eyes glazing over with boredom? And what conversations do you have with yourself in your mind? Is the conversation you have with yourself daily, is it uplifting? Is it energizing? Is it crafting a healthy self-image? Every day you have the choice to uplift your mind. Your mind is capable of so very much amazing things. Creativity, discovery, intuition, so much is there. How well are you channeling your thoughts? How well are you nurturing your mind? How many insights do you experience in a given month? In a given week, in a given day? How insightful are you? How intuitive are you? How passionate are you in being the best you can be? Are you happy and contented with all the things you know? Wouldn't you like to tap into life's mysteries? Wouldn't you like to know how to tap into life's mysteries or mystical dimension? Your relationships. Every day you have the choice to improve your relationships with others. As you know, your relationships have a powerful influence in shaping the qualitative climate of your life for years to come. Your relationships have a powerful influence in shaping the qualitative climate of your life for years to come. How enriching are you in relationships? What value do you bring into your relationships? Every day you have the choice to add more value in your vocation. Your vocation is also called your livelihood. How lively is your livelihood? Is it shaping you to be the kind of person you would wish to be? Or is your livelihood taking a toll on you? Through your vocation, are you offering something of value to society? Or are you just in it for the money? Every day we face choices. Small choices, large choices. How well we make these choices determines how happy we become. And the best way to make clear choices is to set time aside for personal growth and learning. It is to commit ourselves to personal growth and learning. So regardless of how the past has been, please understand that each and every one of you here has the power to influence your reality to be the way you would like it to be. But you have to learn how. You have to be passionate about learning how. You have to be willing to do what it takes to learn how. The deferring of wisdom, please understand, eventually becomes a learning disability. You don't want to go in that direction. You want to be intuitive. You want to be insightful. You want to care enough to make a positive difference in your life and in the lives of others. Your moment is waiting, please. Your moment is waiting. When will you step forward to be a blessing to yourself and others? You need to ask that question to yourself daily. When will you be a blessing to yourself and others? Okay, now let's have some questions. Okay, so then I have the question.